Was Need for Speed Unbound that bad? Let's break it down. Before we go into the list of bad things, let's look at the pros, yeah? So Unbound had a pretty good car list in my opinion, better than Heat. They brought back the Eclipse, which I was very grateful for. They brought back the Honda Integra. They brought in the BMW M3 in Volume 7, which also came with the Mustang Dark Horse. Oh, the BMW M2. That's one of my favorites. That came in Volume 5. In-game and in real life is just amazing, but I'm going off topic. They added a Maybach, which I don't think anybody asked for, but yeah, they had a pretty good car list. I was happy with it. They brought back the RX-8. I was waiting for that. The 190E, that's it. A$AP Rocky's car. The design on that and the attention to detail was amazing. They went above and beyond for that one. I would have loved these cars in Heat because of how good Heat was. Which brings me to the car's customization. Yeah, the customization for these cars were actually pretty good. I enjoyed building cars in this game. The fitment was actually better too. I know with Heat, whenever you had a wide body, it wasn't really in place. With Unbound, they got it on point. Updates. So I would say the updates started getting good when they added, from Volume 7 onwards, that's when we started getting the throwback update. Volume 7, we started with the Drift and Drag update, which was inspired by Underground. Then we had the Hot Pursuit update, which I enjoyed. I know you guys enjoyed it too. And then it was finally the Lockdown update. Honestly, that was probably the most fun I've had with a Need for Speed game towards the end of its cycle. Just online. I remember saying, like, whatever they do with the next Need for Speed game, I don't care what they do, I just want to have fun. And I feel like they did that. That's thanks to Team Kaizen. And I think it was a good strategy on that part because you can't fail with nostalgia. People love nostalgia. The online experience, it's fun. It's fun. There's actually stuff to do online. I think that was the issue with Heat. You could join together with races, but then how many people would actually join you, you know? But with Unbound now, we actually had set playlists for us to join. We wouldn't struggle finding people to play with. That's just my experience though. There was a mode where, I think it was the link up mode, where you would all meet up at like this green circle spot, cause a bunch of chaos, do challenges. It got everybody involved. You know, you get rewards for drafting. Some people may need to go crash some cops. The others may need to crash some road cones or whatever those stuff are. Some maybe need to do some jumps, near misses. It gets you moving, it gets you doing stuff. On to the cartoon effects. Now, most of you online do not like the cartoon effects. I personally actually like the cartoon effects because, again, it brings something new to the franchise. And with Need for Speed, whenever they make a game, they're always doing something new. You can't fault them for that. The reason why I love these cartoon effects is because it reminds me of Spider-Verse and Intergalactic. That's the only reason why. And I think, what were people complaining about? They felt like it was too childish for them, I guess. I think that was a pretty cool design to add the cartoon effects. It would have been better if the sense of speed was better, I think. Because with that, the burst NOS that you get when you do a drift or a near miss, I don't actually feel like the car goes any faster when you click it, but I know the cartoon effects are trying to show that. Single player. You know, I'm gonna leave this to you guys in the comments. Let me know what you think about the single player, because I haven't played it. I refuse to touch that story, because I played like the first 10 minutes and I got bored. I could not be asked. I went straight online. And here is where we go to the negatives. I'm gonna start with the cops, right? I'm gonna put the cops in the middle, only because they're good sometimes, but they have some really stupid moments. They're not to the level of Need for Speed Heat cops before they got nerfed, but they're better than Need for Speed 2015. You don't really have to do much to be better than them cops. But I don't know, do you feel anxious or scared when you see these cops coming at you? You know, the only times I've felt that is Need for Speed Most Wanted 05. Hang on, there's gotta be more. Shit. Yeah, Most Wanted. Most Wanted 05. Heat. Rivals. There we go. When I say I guess Hot Pursuit. Unbound is like, meh. until those trucks start coming at you, then yeah, it's a different story. But yeah, onto the negatives. So my question was Need for Speed Unbound that bad? In the beginning, yeah. In the beginning, yeah. But as I said before, the updates, it just made the game more fun. I linked to this literally like a few minutes ago. The story for this game, so freaking lackluster. I've seen the clips. I haven't played it, but I've seen the clips, and it's just, I don't even know what to say. It's probably the worst story in a Need for Speed franchise. Am I being harsh? You guys let me know. Stemming from the frickin' story, you see that character that's always yelling, bro, bro, bro. My goodness. She was so annoying, man. And I get that that's probably, I think that was probably the point. They were trying to make an annoying character, but it just didn't help the story. It would have been fine if the story was good and you just had this annoying character. I get it. Character development, all that. But when you have a story that you don't enjoy mixed with a character that you heavily dislike, it's not a good blend. It's not a good blend. Not at all. And then even with the other, I forgot the other female, the main character next to your character, where she's basically betrayed the garage. She's betrayed us, basically. Had these people come and steal the cars and stuff. Was it the Heights? Whatever the organization is. And it's like, I never really understood if she was a part of the theft, or if she just got offended because her father figure just came at her. It was so confusing to me. Basically, she showed up, right? The garage got raided. He goes up to the female. The guy's like, oh, what was that? And then she's saying, oh, I don't know that dude. And then they call her name. They're like, hey, let's go. He's like, they just said your name. And she's acting all offended, like, and even towards the end of the story, did we even get an answer as to why she did what she did? Did she set us up, or was she blindsided? But even though, let's say she was blindsided, why did she still join the Heights afterwards? Were you that offended by how he came at you that you just decided to join him? Because she did apologize for speaking about the garage, and that's how the Heights found out about it. But I don't know if she was actually a part of the raiding. It was just confusing to me. Maybe you guys can explain it better, because I haven't actually played the story properly, but you guys let me know. That shit was, dead. Anyways, has the sensor speed dropped due to the map? It's a sensor speed. You can do camera angles to make it feel fast. It doesn't feel quick. That's what I'm saying with the cartoon effects. It was cool, but it would have felt a lot better if the sensor speed was better. I'm repeating myself now. I spoke about the updates. Where they went wrong is they should have paid some attention to the single player. Little small updates. When they were dropping these updates, they should have done an update where your single player and online player is connected. Because why the hell? I've never had this experience in a Need for Speed game. Why would you separate the single player from the multiplayer? All your progress on single player, you've been grinding your ass off. And you guys know how hard it is to actually get some proper cash on single player. You've been grinding your ass off, building up these cars, building up your garage, your collection, to then have to restart when you come into online player? What's the point then? What's the point? I don't understand why you do that. Just blend the two. That's actually part of the reason why I didn't want to play single player. Because like, why am I grinding twice for the same game to do the exact same thing? I think the cars that I've built in single player should easily be transferred over to online. And they've done this before. They literally did it with the last installment with Heat. Your garage stayed the same whether you were on single player or online. It didn't matter. I don't know why they made that change now, but whatever. EA, right? The music. Do I even need to say anything? And I feel like this is more of a broad... This is a broad statement because I feel like it applies to most racing games in the modern era. Because I've struggled to find a racing game where the soundtrack was on point, you know? Like it fit the vibe, it got me excited to race. Because nowadays, I find myself putting on Spotify. I go into the game settings, completely mute the music, and put on Spotify, which I shouldn't be doing, because the soundtrack should be good enough. I never did that for Heat. Maybe the Forza guys can say different. I don't know what the soundtrack is like there. But back to Unbound, like the soundtrack was poor. We went from Riders on the Storm to Hey, we want some money. Man, get that shit out of here. What we doing? Do you guys feel like that song fit the vibe? When I heard that, I never muted a game so quick in my life. The feel of the map. I don't know if the map is bigger than Heat Zone. I feel like it is slightly, maybe slightly. The feel of it, the atmosphere, it's very dull. And it's kind of depressing at times to drive around in. Now, I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that was meant to be the vibe of, where was Need for Speed Unbound set? Chicago, I think. Is it a depressing city? Is that what they were trying to capture? If so, then fine. Compared to Heat, again, I keep comparing it to Heat because this is the level. Heat's environment and atmosphere is one of the best. Like, they got that spot on. I'm talking music, the aesthetic, the lighting, the saturation, the whatever. Just the whole thing as an experience, they got it spot on. With Unbound, the music is poor, the feel of the map, it feels depressing driving around there. You guys let me know if you feel the same way. And a final point, the tier races. I can't fault them for doing something new like this, but it was quite jarring. Whenever it came to these races, my car would start rev banging because it can't push past the limit, if that makes sense. It can't go past this certain level, otherwise it wouldn't be in that class, right? I ain't trying to hear all that in a race, just bang, 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 bang. Like, what? That's just in your ears. Why would I want to listen to that? Unless you're drifting, that's different. And it's especially with the online races now. You have tier races, but then you have these people. Okay, if it said, take a A+ vehicle for this race. If that's the case, let me buy, I don't know, a Subaru or the BMW M2, right? I think stock, it's just hovering over S-Class. So you can drop it a bit for it to go to A+, right? It's not much of a drop. But then you'd have these people with freaking Lamborghinis or Ferraris with an A+, just smashing the whole race. It wasn't well balanced. But yeah, so was Need for Speed Unbound that bad? Unbound was a mixture. It was a mixed experience. I think in the beginning, let's just take the base of the game, the foundation that was created, right? If Need for Speed Unbound didn't have these updates, especially those last 3, it gets a very poor rating for me, a very low rating. But Team Kaizen saved this game. If it wasn't for those updates, it's a long day. It's not the best Need for Speed, it's not the worst either. But I could say with Need for Speed Unbound, I haven't had that much fun on a game or the online experience since probably Hot Pursuit and Heat. That just shows you how good he is. The fact that it doesn't even need updates and it's still good to play. Team Kaizen did a good job. I think with what they had, they revived it. You guys let me know what you think. Was Need for Speed Unbound that bad? Or did you enjoy the game? And if you were to rate it, yeah, let's look at the last four Need for Speed games. Need for Speed 2015, Payback, Heat, Unbound. Where would you rate it? Where would you rank it?